Back again. Really didn't even go anywhere, but we're
Really
back
didn't.
again. Hey y'all, this is There's an Iron Marriage podcast. There's a lot to say, but you know, you seen the logo, you seen the title, you know who we are, Nick and Kayla. Love y'all. Um, yeah, we're back again. Talk about a little bit more about egos, but also talking about comparison. There's a lot of things that we can draw together, and we hope that you can see beyond what you see when it comes to relationships and all the stuff that we talk about. Yeah. So last time we talked about egos, and especially when it comes to the soul ties that we bring together. But also, we want to talk about how this relates to comparison. In comparison, whether it's if you have like a secret crush on someone, or if you not, and I'm not trying to say like this is a common thing and it should be a common thing, so if that sounded bad, sorry.
Which I know what you're saying is like when you start to have comparison, you start to notice little things like you'll be like, oh, that person's kind of cute, and you're in a relationship,
Yeah.
or oh, like they seem pretty successful in their marriage. Why aren't we? Like you start to look at other people and other things. Even if you're single, you start to be like, well, why does it seem like they're having more fun while they're single and I'm over here miserable? So like
Yeah,
you start to like that's bad comparison.
See, this is why she's my better half. She is my better half, y'all, because she said it better than I could say it. Yeah. These are the things that we compare ourselves, and let's start off with this. As a human living on this world, the many things you can see, especially with social media now being a part of our daily lives, you're bound to see something that you don't have, and you feel like it's better, and you're gonna want to figure out how can I either incorporate that in my life, or how can I feel happy within my own self. There's always that battle.
Because even when your life looks happy, or even if you are growing, there's always something God is going to check. Like, I don't want to say check, but He's going to bring to your attention. For me, even when I see people or businesses being successful, and we are sitting here growing our business, I'll be honest, there is something of like jealousy tries to come up in me, and I'm like, no, we're gonna cast that down right now. Don't you it cannot come above what God already told you about your business, about you, about where you're going.
Because you don't know how they even
know how they got there. You don't know how long it took. But like there's always something trying to rise up in me, and I'm like, no, shut it down now. Because first of all, it's their time. God has called them to this time, and God has called me to this time. I'm happy for them, and I genuinely am. But because we are human, because we live on this world, there's always going to be something to be compared to, or somebody comparing you, or it's just always something that looks better, or something
that
or
was
somebody
done different that looks very nice.
Or you're like, I wish I was there. So then that's when jealousy and envy and pride and ego starts to try to creep up. But that's why you gotta shut it down.
I can do that. I can do that. I can. And
But you gotta shut it down and humble yourself. Like, and comparison is such a thief. Like, it's a thief of your joy. Is what I've learned. Like,
ain't that a scripture too?
It's such a thief of joy. You cannot sit here and look at and think that the grass is greener on the other side, or think that like, oh, they're doing it better, or that looks better. Like,
and let's also flip this just a little bit. It's okay that they've done that, and you feel like you can do that too. If it's in a healthy manner, you allow yourself to give yourself time and grace
to get there.
So don't, just because you feel the way that you feel right now doesn't mean that you need to just cast it completely away because people that think that comparison is a sin will go there You think that you got to scrap everything that you thought you liked. No, God knows what you like.
He knows what you.
God knows what you desire. God does want to give you the desire of your heart. But remember, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything shall be added unto you. So this is when we talk about comparison. Like, in our society, especially when we're not really abreast on God's way, when we're not constantly checking our ego, we're not having God check our ego for us and with us. We get into these points where we're so low that we start making decisions that damage the path that God is trying to put on you, or the people around you and stuff like that. So what I was getting at earlier about, you have these inklings on how someone else looks good, or the relationship that someone else is in looks good and stuff like that, and you start to envy. Your ego says, you know what, whatever I have right now, I'm so mad that I'm gonna let whatever I feel come out. And so if you are in a relationship, you go back to that person and you start complaining. You start yelling at them and nagging at them because you feel like they need to be the better partner.
And I've done that. Not with you.
Yeah.
But like,
no, ain't no way.
No, but like, I've been that person where I knew the relationship that I was in was not healthy. And I would go out and see other people happy, doing things, or even just watching a movie, like, just being like, well, you don't do that, you don't do that, you don't do this, you don't do this, and not realizing that, like, we like to always pin it on the other person, like they're the reason we broke up. Like, no, Kayla, you knew it was unhealthy for one, but you also made it even more rotten when you came in with comparison. And I'm willing to, when we talked about accountability, I'm willing to take accountability for that, because that was not right. Wherever we were at the time, I dropped it down 3 more notches every time comparison came in and stole whatever we were trying to build up. Which again, it wasn't healthy to begin with. I wasn't supposed to be with them, obviously, but like, to bring in comparison to any relationship or any situation or anything that you are building, it steals so much from you, and it feels like, at least it feels like it pulls you down. It makes you feel like less than. It makes you feel like something's not right.
Like
when God is like,
because you also get confused sometimes. You'll be feeling like the other person isn't listening to you. You feel like the other person is not pulling their weight. You feel like the other person is just not fitting for you, and then you throw all these things at them, but you also distance yourself, and you're not really talking about the root issue. Like, what really triggered you? What's causing you to come home angry at your spouse, or angry at your boyfriend, angry at your girlfriend, or angry with your friends and stuff like that?
Angry at your business, angry at your school,
angry at your parents.
Yeah.
I wish I had better parents.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, and I don't want to negate real trauma.
But this is literally how comparison steals so much from you.
Like, what we are trying to encourage is when it's somewhat of a concept called the 80-20 rule, the 90-10 rule. You probably heard of it if you haven't. Basically, what we're saying is that if you have something good, like genuinely good, we're not encouraging you to stay into anything that's toxic, bad, causing you pain, despair, anything like that. But if you have something that's genuinely good, especially if you also talked about the goals that you wanted to have going into your relationship, you talked about the future you want to have, and the environment that you want to have. If everything is really lined up and you just feel like you're missing out on a little bit, just let that little bit,
or it's going too slow.
Just let the little bit be. Enjoy what you have. Because there's always gonna, like, come on, like, I have a newer car. I have a nice new car, I do like other cars, but I'm very thankful.
I'm very content.
Very content. That's the word that the Bible loves to use.
Content.
Be content. Be able to say, you know what, I'm good.
Because I read something too, and I think it was in the Battlefield of the Mind, and she was like, when we complain, it opens the door for the enemy to basically make us think that what we have isn't enough or it isn't good. I think I'm paraphrasing or something along the lines of that.
Shout out to Joyce
And then,
Meyer.
for real. And then she said also that when God hears us complaining, he's like, okay, you just prayed this prayer about wanting more of something or from somebody, but why would I give you more to complain about?
Ooh. Oh, give you more to complain about.
I was like,
the irony.
I was like, oh snap. So that's why even the other night I was like, well, let me stop complaining because I was able to get some. So this restaurant messed up my order and they were not willing to compromise, and I was very frustrated.
You might get a. We're deciding.
It was very disturbing. It disturbed me very deeply. But then I kept remembering, like, don't complain, don't compare. Just let it be. It is what it is. Move on. So again, like, when you read that stuff, you think you're gonna get it the first time. No, you're not.
No,
but like it's
a constant check in your life. Like, Lord, am I coming from the most humblest of hearts? Because as a human, you are bound to get upset. And you know what? To be honest, part of that is perfectly fine. Because as a human, I hope you do have emotions. But how do you use it? How do you use what you're feeling? Are you going to use it for fuel to burn the whole world down? I get it. It feels like you should.
And she also mentioned, what I'm going to is, when you start to process those things, are you being realistic or are you being idealistic? Because when you bring in that comparison and you're being idealistic, because you just saw.
Ooh, can we break down idealistic and realistic?
So idealistic, like, it's good to have imagination, right? Obviously. You have this picture in your head, you're sticking to it, ain't nothing gonna change. You have it detail by detail by detail. But then realistically, so I'm gonna use an example for, again, idealistic. Idealistic is, I'm going to wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna go to the gym, I am going to come home, feed my dog, cook me breakfast, sit down and watch TV. I'm going to finish the book. And yeah, I'm going to take a nap and wait for you to come home. But realistically, because we live in a fallen world, because things are literally not perfect, we are not in heaven.
And things are bound to just happen.
Things are just bound to happen. If I sit here and hang on to those things that I just mentioned, but what if I wake up and Roxy throws up? Now I got to clean up her throw up. What if I wake up and the gym is actually closed?
Yeah.
Am I going to hold on to this idealistic, or am I going to be realistic and just go for a jog? Am I willing to compromise that? So when you allow, when we get into a comparison and we in too deep and we have this idealistic, like, you watched a movie and the man was bringing his woman flowers every single day of the week for the whole year. You look at your man and be like, you don't do that. Baby, that's not realistic. Because I can't, like...
First of all, flowers cost this much.
And do you have the room?
My budget is this much. And the flower store is closed on certain days. And
do you have the room for all of those flowers? Do you actually want those flowers? What does getting those flowers every day mean to you? Like, you know, let's be realistic here. And that's what I mean when we allow comparison in and we aren't being realistic with it. Because, like, when... Ooh,
this gonna lead to another conversation. But you keep going. I'm sorry.
You good. But, like, when you look on the outside, or you think the grass is greener somewhere else, are you being realistic when you're looking at them or looking at it like, okay, how did they get there? Can I ask some questions? Or I'm talking from like a business aspect or a marriage aspect. Like if you're in a marriage or in a relationship where you feel like y'all just aren't growing, y'all aren't getting anywhere, how about instead of comparing, hey, how did you get there? Or how are you and your wife, or how are you and your husband? And instead of comparison, when you check yourself in that comparison, you be realistic and you start asking those questions. Come down into the real world and ask the questions.
Yes. I think this is a good time, especially if you're in your singleness or you're dating, to really come to a place of like, what is realistic? Because if you don't check your realistic boxes right up front, you're going to bring those into your marriage too. If you're not able to be content, if you're not able to be content and sometimes even compromise early on, then if you keep developing those habits of comparison, you're going to bring them into your relationship. And it's going to be a little bit harder in the middle of your relationship to try to check your ego. You can.
You can, and you.
But because you've had these expectations for a long, long time, it's going to be a little bit harder to let them go. That's why we talk about checking your comparison boxes. Also, you talked about like idealistic and realistic. There's a good sermon out there. We talk about Transformation Church all the time, but we talk about the rip up your list. Yeah, that ties along with this. We're not going to even spend too long on that because if you haven't watched that one, I'm gonna leave that one to you, especially you single people. Married too. Well, everybody should watch it. Everybody should watch it. Yes, comparison is definitely a thief. If you're not able to say, you know what, I'm good. I think that should honestly be in our vocabulary almost every day. You don't necessarily got to say it out loud, but I think just, you know what, I'm good. And it don't have to be with a lot of anger behind it too, because some people, you know what, I'm good.
Right. It's like no.
Good day to you. Well, no, like in a peaceful manner, you should be able to say, what I have is perfectly fine. We encourage people to get to that place in your personal eye, to say, you know what, God has me. God is taking good care of me. God has plans for me, plans for my future. They may not happen directly today, but I'm thankful that God has a good plan for me and in my future and our future. Baby, what you looking up?
I'm looking up the actual scripture to give to the people.
Ooh, yes, we love that. We love scriptures, right?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking. So looking it up on Google. So correction, guys. Comparison is the thief of joy is a quote. It's not. It's not in the Bible, but they do talk about comparing, comparison, and how you shouldn't compare. But I'm looking up some good scriptures for you, and we'll put them more in the description below, like when we caption everything and everything like that. So we'll put in scriptures that actually help. Again, we are not perfect.
Okay.
We don't know the Bible
front and back, left and right,
but that does not define our relationship with the Lord or with each other. God knows our heart. Especially when we pray before this, I really do pray that people are getting the message from when we talk about this stuff.
And also, that also shows how our society, we hear so many different things that sound good or sound right. This is why we always go back and check. And it's okay to be wrong. It's actually okay to be wrong. This is what we talk about in this book, in this podcast. It's okay to be wrong. But it's also good to learn from those mistakes.
Yes.
Grow from those mistakes. Talk to God about what to do next with what you've learned and heard. Yeah.
Always. So I want to be present with this, but again, we'll find more scriptures and put them in the description below. And if we don't find any, then we'll be like, okay,
I'm sure
we'll find something.
some. The Bible is full of everything.
He's full of all types of stuff. It's full of all types of stuff.
Yes.
I love it. But yes, definitely don't live in comparison. Please don't live in comparison.
So, in your journey with your eye, when have you or are you still growing in your, you know what, I'm good?
When I know I can do something about a situation, and then I'll be like, I'm good. It's not my place.
Is that like I'm sure it's a continuous thing but like, have you gotten to a place where your mindset has let you say that in a manner that when you move forward, every time you see something new going forward, you're like, I'm not even going to entertain that anymore because I am good. Okay.
I've gotten there, or even if I find myself in a situation and I'm just like, I'm either comparing or I feel that spirit of jealousy or something trying to come up, I'd be like, nope, nope, let's check it right now. Nope, I don't need it. I don't want it, or that's God, if it was for me, you would have gave it to me, or you will give it to me. So like, another example would be when it comes to finances. If I feel like I want, like, we're going on a trip or we're about to do something and we'd be like, okay, how are we going to do this? What's going to happen? Like, not, and we're trying to plan it out. The old me would have been like, I'm just going to pick up 7 extra shifts at work and we going to make sure,
Oh, that's big facts.
So like, the now me is like, I would always say first, I am not picking up no shifts at work. I'm not. It's not worth it. And I believe that if we are meant to go on this trip, you will provide a way.
Ooh, how long ago have you made that?
Since I started this new job.
New job. Okay. And how long? Well, for reference,
it's been 9 months.
9 months. See, so first of all, very, very proud of you, babe.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. They didn't hear that. Anywho, I think why I asked that, when does that happen? I think to give perspective for people that's trying to grow in their journey of the, you know what, I'm good level. I think you should be able to timestamp a place where your mindset shifted.
Oh yeah, I've noticed since January.
Yeah. Since
January, and I mean, I started the job back in 2023 of December, and then January hit, and I was just like, okay, I'm making pretty good money, but then there was other stuff that we were doing, things that were coming up, like we new homeowners, we learning a lot, property taxes, like just all types of stuff, and money wasn't funny, but we wish we had more at the time, and it was just like, okay, what can we do? I said, I'm not picking up no shifts. First of all, I don't think I could. But then when they've been offering it more, but I've been like, no, it's not worth it. Because what is that gonna do? Just gonna stress me out more.
Take away your off days, stress you out a little bit more. You talk about you haven't gotten rest, and all for what?
All for what? $1. And that's just my perspective. I can't really think right now of another time where I was like, yeah, I'm good. Oh, yeah. Like when I'm scrolling on social media and I'm seeing people, do certain things, be certain places, and I'm just like, oh, one day. And I'm not jealous. I'm not comparing. I'm just like, and even when I feel that spirit try to rise up, I'm like, nah, like we good. Like I'm happy where I am. I don't know how they got there. I don't know what they had to do to get there. So if God wants me there, he'll show me a way to get there. Everybody's way is different. Like with even writing this book, this process was so different. Like I sit here and look at other authors, and I'm just like, how did they get there? Like I found myself even looking at like trying to find out who published their book, like even big time writers. But I'm just like, I'm good. Like, I will literally close my phone and be like, that's wasting my time.
Yeah.
It's stealing my joy.
Yeah.
Like it's no point.
And this is real. This is
I'm being very vulnerable. I'm being very honest, and I have to get out of my own head and be like, I am good.
I think, and I know I always talk about this, the Orlando trip that I took in 2021. I think some of the months leading up to that, it was, COVID still was kind of around, and I had a new job. I got a new job right before COVID. Matter of fact, it was my breakup with the last relationship. Then it was getting the new job and writing the vision, creating the vision board, and then finally going on that trip. I started realizing that God had really brought me out of a lot of things, and brought me into a new life, like as far as finances and stuff. I was working salary at Geico. I was making way more money than I've ever had before. So by 2021, then we talked about how I was talking to you and some other girl, and like everything that I was like all the worries I had before was like, you know what? I'm good. God has taken care of me. I'm able to talk to beautiful women, and I'm not talking to them out of the sake of trying to get with them. Like physically, it was like everything that I'm doing, DJing is going well. I feel good about my talents. I feel good about life. Whatever is coming wants to come against me, I'm good.
That's good.
I don't feel like I need anything else in my life that's going to take
from you, or
yeah, like it's because like we talk about how the devil's out to rob, steal, and kill, steal, and destroy, but it's like with what God has for me, I'm capable, I'm good, and but also at the same time, if I'm being honest about myself in my current job, there is a little bit of comparison because I work in sales. I'm an insurance agent, and there's times where I see other people getting better numbers than me when it comes to sales and stuff like that. And it's been such a rocky journey of trying to figure out, am I in the place that I'm supposed to be in? Because I'm a Leo. I don't claim zodiac signs, but if there's anything about me, I like being on top. Everybody does. But I like being on top, and to see other people do better than me. First of all, I'm very happy for them. I always check myself. I'm like, you know what? I'm happy that they're winning, always. And so, but it's like, am I good? But I'm good. God's got me. God is in control. God.
You have to remind yourself. That's
all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Humble yourself.
So. If there was a time stamp for me to realize that God is in control, it was back in 2021. But when we talk about your daily, like checking yourself,
that submission,
I still feel that way sometimes.
You have to submit that. You have to submit. You have to humble yourself and submit yourself under the hand of God, and God will be like, okay, I'm glad you realized that, and maybe that's why He has you in that environment to keep practicing that, and that's good that you realize that, babe. It is.
Yeah. See, she knows what I've been going through, and if anybody from Ray Skillman sees or hear this, know I'm a real person. Know that I'm a real person. I really love serving people, honestly. I don't envy anybody. We all out here to make money. We all out here to take care of ourselves, our families, and so. Hey, this conversation.
You're being very vulnerable and transparent, and I appreciate that, and I hope that who's ever watching this is accepting that.
This is it's real life. When we talk about our eyes, like I hope that you can take something from this and it's like, you know what, in my life, let me get. Matter of fact, if you're, I'm encouraging the people that haven't found that, you know what, I'm good moment. Seek it. Seek God first, and then seek for that I'm good moment, because you'll get to a point where God will show you, like, you know what, you good, and you be like, you know what, God,
You right.
I am good.
You right. I'm good.
You good. I'm good. Yeah, we
do it every day.
We got this, you know.
You got to do it every day.
We got this. And that's why so you talk about you do it every day. I don't want to add too much to our conversation, but we talk about daily devotionals as people who walk with Christ or follow Christ things. These are daily devotional things that are practical, that are real. You know, we don't do it out of rituals. These are the things that God is asking us to do every day, because he knows. Jesus even knew how it was to walk as a human. He told us so many parables and stories that's like, if you could just understand this, you will be good, and God will love you and will bring you into heaven, because you are seeking to be more like him. And so that's why we talk about egos. That's why we talk about healing. That's why we talk about grace. That's why we talk about love, because one, it all comes from the Bible. It comes from what God has commanded us to do. But being human, and we're having our real interactions with you, like, we hope that you can see that this is how it applies. And we
Even
encourage
small
you to if you see it in what we're talking about, please see it in yourself in your daily devotional. It doesn't have to be a long, well drawn out conversation, sermon, and, you know, music and everything in the morning, like you have to have church every morning. You don't have to have church necessarily every morning. Unless that's what God told you to do.
Well, have whatever you need.
Whatever you need to feel good about your walk with God and your walk in life. That's what we're encouraging you to have. So yeah, seek God first. Remember to see beyond what you see. Like, subscribe, comment.
And comment any scriptures that you know about comparison and joy.
Let's have a conversation
like
out
that.
here, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, we want to show love back to you. I know we're growing in our podcast. We want this to be a family. We want to give you any, particular advice. We're not Superman. We're not Superwoman. But, like, we want to love on you. So we're here. We love you. We hope you have a great week. Shout out to you for staying this long. So like and comment, support everything we do. See you.